Hello, Keller Williams. Everyone watching on Pivot Shift Ahead. It's your friend James Shaw. Trust you're doing all right. And this is the thing I love doing on Wednesdays. You know this is popping into the Pivot Shift Ahead Facebook group and learning from agents who are absolutely knocking it out of the park and celebrating their successes, but then also helping you win based on what they're doing. And we're going to do that today. Stacy, you and I met at a class I taught in Charlotte several years ago,
Yes.
and I was like a win with buyers or win with sellers or something like that. You had your whole team there. It was really cool. And your business has changed a lot in the time that you and I met. But tell us a little bit about who you are and where you're from, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, sure. Stacey Sauls from Charlotte, North Carolina area. Been in the business since 2011, always with Keller Williams. I was a paralegal before real estate, so I knew Keller Williams, had all the training. I knew exactly where I wanted to go. So that was a helpful first step. And from being an individual agent in 2011, we now have a team of 16 people and are top 5 in the region.
Yeah, you guys don't mess around. So I'm just going to tell them because I got your numbers right here in front of me. Last year, your team's GCI was almost $3.9 million. $3.9 million. Now, I think you were a paralegal in 2011.
Yep.
So 10 years later, your team's making $3.9 million. How did that feel?
Oh, really good. Really good. It's terrifying to build a team in the first place, and then you just want everyone to be successful. So to finally, look at the numbers and see that it's working is awesome.
No doubt about it. And you are north of 3.5 million this year in GCI already. That's through the end of August. So you have no problem surpassing the GCI that you did last year. But the thing that was most interesting to me as I studied your numbers was a lot of agents are up in their GCI. That's very common right now in 2022 to see agents up in GCI. And that's because home prices have gone up, just like you've seen in Fort Mill and Charlotte and around that. But when I looked at your numbers, I saw something that I don't see from a ton of people. And that is your units are up in this market. If you look at your overall units is flat, but you've got units that are up. What's happening that allows you to actually, in a market that's going down by 1 million transactions, that you guys aren't seeing that happen for your team? I'm just curious about that.
Oh, yeah. You've got to focus on the units, not the volume, right? If you can hit your unit goal, then you're going to hit your GCI goal. It's scalable if you track the units.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so let me get it right. Through the end of July, because we don't have the August numbers yet, your units year over year are up 15%.
Woo.
So you did 329 units in 2021. You're at 215, but that's through the end of July. Yep. You did another, 9 or 10 million in volume in August. So you're going to have more units popping in there. So it's this is what I got from you. And this is what I've said earlier. I look at a team here that's you're going to do well over 300 transactions. There's no doubt about that. You're going to make, your GCI is going to be knocking on the door of $4 million. But you're not doing anything special and fancy.
No.
That was the thing. You admit that this is just about the basics.
Yeah, it is. And it started out that way because I didn't have any money when I got into the industry. I had to make money. So when all of these, Zillow, Realtor.com, they're all calling you, they want you to give them money to get leads. And I thought, I don't have any money to give them. So I'm going to have to figure this out. So I picked up the MREA, figured out how to red light, green light with expenses. And now it's ingrained in me where there has to be a return on investment for us to do anything. And really, if you just make the contacts every single day, which is free, you get the business.
Okay. So that's the thing. You've got your team, but the name of the game for you guys, it comes down to, are we talking? I mean, is it that simple? We're just making our contacts day in and day out?
Yeah, it's that simple.
Okay. So you have standards around that. What are your standards on contacts?
So now, and when I started the team, it was 20 contacts a day. So that I've been forever doing that. And then the last 2 years with the market started to get, great. It was really good to us to where I was getting phone calls. People had to go out and buy houses. So I said, here's a lead, go sell them. And so the team members weren't necessarily raised the same way I raised myself in this business, if that makes sense. So when everything shifted again, I had to sit back, look at our business model and say, okay, I've failed my people, right? And that's okay, as long as you recognize it. And I did. and said, hey, I need to teach you guys how to go fishing. This is how we were built. We're organically grown. And what that means is you call people, you reach out to them, you text them, you send them a Facebook message, you check in, you see how you can be of service. And those people are the loyal people when we look back at the database, the ones that have given us the return business year over year.
Yeah, so it's all back into the database. Okay, it's an interesting thing that you said that the agents on your team weren't necessarily raised in the business the way you were. You got in 2011. So is that right? 2011?
2011.
Yeah, so that's the trend. That's really the year we kind of shifted out of the buyer's market and into the seller's market, at least nationally. I don't know what it was like in Charlotte, but my guess is it was like that we were coming out of the buyer's market and starting to transition into this seller's market that really began, 2012-ish, right? So you came in at a time where all the training was, you got to lead gen, you got to talk to your people, you got to communicate, okay, so you do that and it works for you. You build this business. We get into 2020, we get into the pandemic, and the market just catches up or just takes off, right? Because the inventory drops so low. It's just turn and burn, turn and burn, turn and burn. And Gary said at Mega Camp that it was a service first, skills second time in the business. That your skill set didn't need to be as high. You just need to provide great service to all the people who wanted to do stuff.
Right.
Was that when you say that they weren't raised in the skill market, they were raised in the service market, right?
Oh yeah. So the last 2 years we've been working on how to be more efficient, how to get more ROI for our company, right? So spend as little time with people as possible, get them to the closing table happily, and ta-da! And now we have to go back. Whoa, slow down. Don't forget that it's about relationships. That's how we built this. And I'm actually very, very grateful for this shifting market because it really shows you what's missing in your business.
Stacy, this is great. You're saying what everyone was. Look, we got to show them the house real quick. Do they want it or not? Write the offer. What are they going to put in it? Let's go. All right, you're negotiating the offers, or your members of your team. How many offers did we get? When are we doing final and bet? Like that's what you did for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you woke up one day and it felt different?
It felt like we lost the soul of our company, right? Because we weren't focused on the people. I mean, we weren't even going to closings because COVID, kept us from closings. And then from a business perspective, I said, this is awesome. We don't have to spend time at closings. We're saving hours out of our day. And no, I woke up and thought, oh my gosh, are you doing this for the people or are you doing, this for your calendar? So that's what we're shifting now, going back to the closings, making it about the client, the customer experience. And that's how we're going to grow.
And you said it was, part of it was just you saw fewer leads coming in. And so you realized something had to change.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's forever changing, right? We just have to wrap our arms around it and embrace it. I think, when it first happened, I feel like it was maybe 60 days ago in Charlotte when I noticed. And I thought, okay, just get through it, right? Shifting market, no worries. And maybe for about a week, I thought like that. And then I said, what are you doing? Embrace this. You know how to run this. This is how you got into it. It is what it is. Change the way you're doing things and get some results.
All right. So what have you changed to get results?
So now we are doing 20 contacts a day. So that's what's required of the team members. And this is actually kind of funny. When this is how I realized that I had failed the team. We started counting contacts a day. So we'd have our team meeting and we would say, hey, so-and-so, how many contacts are you going to do? And a lady on our team, she said, I'll do 3 this week.
This week? Not today, not even today?
No, this week. Yeah. So we had to really, really go back to the basics. What is a contact? What does it mean? Yeah. How do we log it? How do we follow up with people? We got so far from the basics. And
what was your reaction, just very quickly, when you had a team member, because you hired this person and trained this person and set the expectations? So what was your initial reaction when she says, I'm going to talk to 3 people this week?
I thought, oh no. This isn't gonna go well. And we have a fantastic director of sales, and she's been in the business for a very long time too. So she said, okay, we got to figure this out. We've got to just train them up and teach them everything we learned years ago.
So how do you go from making 3 contacts in a week to making 20 in a day? Tell us the process, because there's so many people watching that do struggle with this
Right.
standard of daily contacts. It's easy to get sidetracked. They haven't had to make a lot the last 2 years. So tell us, how do you grow from 3 a week to 20 a day?
Yeah, you got to figure it out. I didn't even have contacts when we first started in 2011 because I worked so many hours as a paralegal that I would work and then I come home. So when I got into the business, I thought I haven't talked to my friends in years. I work, go home, and do it again. So I called my mom as my first contact in Ignite and said, they're making me make phone calls. What do I do? And she said, well, why are you calling me? I said, I don't know. Do you know anybody that wants to buy or sell? No, go do what they're asking you to do. So I actually didn't. I didn't. I only called my mom, and then I went back into Ignite class and people were raising their hands saying, oh, I set an appointment. I just got a buyer. And I looked around the classroom thinking, okay, well, if this is working, let me figure it out. So started with FISBOs, expireds, connecting with people I hadn't talked to in a while. That feels a little weird at first. And then it feels good when you realize they're happy you're reaching out, just letting them know what I was doing. And now it's just a no-brainer. If I'm waiting on an appointment, I've got 10 minutes. Who can I text? Who can I check in with? Let me make sure that I'm getting these in a day.
Yeah, you're clearly a connector and networker, and it seems like you've tried to help your team members, the agents on your team, do the same thing, right? I think what you're saying, hey, what group of you are a part of, and you're kind of coaching them on how to talk to those people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to know that you just have to do one thing a day to move your business forward. You don't have to figure it all out in 24 hours, and you do have to do something that's going to get you to the next step.
Okay, how long does it take? 20 contacts sounds like a lot. This is what I'm blown away by. You're going to do $4 million in GCI this year. There's no question about that. In a market that's slowing down, you're speeding up, and you're doing it by spending more time talking to people.
Right.
How do you get it all done? It seems like that would take a long time.
You do it. You pretend it is. I mean, it is your job. This is how I like to explain it. If you were to go interview for a corporate job and they say, hey, I'm going to pay you, I don't know, 100,000, 200, I don't know. I don't care what the number is. And I'm going to pay you this salary. And what I need you to do is talk to 20 people a day. I don't know a person in the world that wouldn't say, yes, please sign me up for that. And yet we do sign up for it. And then we don't make the contacts.
You have to make the decision to make the contacts. It's a decision.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Are you doing more than just call? Is this smile and dial and you're just calling everybody?
No.
Are you guys getting out and about in the community? You live in one of the best cities in the country.
We do. So I get really uncomfortable talking to people. So I like to do text messages, Facebook messages. Sometimes I'll just do voice memos, checking in with people. I also like those because then you don't get stuck on the phone for 20 minutes with each person, because that can take up your day. So if it is a phone call, it looks like this. This is the script. Hey, you know what, Stacy, I only have 2 minutes. I'm running into an appointment. You were on my mind and I wanted to check on you and make sure you guys were doing good. Is there anything that you need from me? So then they already know you've only got a couple minutes. You're checking in with them. You feel good because you know where your friends and past clients are at in their life. And ta-da, that's it.
Is there a system you and your team are following to know who to check into, who to talk with, and all that kind of stuff on a daily basis?
We are getting that set up.
I figured that might be a challenge, right? That you have had to transition so quickly from service to skill that is that an aha that you have some systems that might be lacking?
It is, yeah. So, and it's the database. So here I am preaching that we've grown this business by using our database and we don't use it to its full potential. It's kind of funny because I've been coaching with Jordan Freed for a couple of years now. Yay, MAPS coaching. He's amazing. And from the very beginning, he said, Stacy, I think there's money in your database that you're not tapping into. And I said, okay, we'll figure that out later because the leads are coming in. Well, all of a sudden the leads stop coming in and I sit there and think, oh my gosh, Jordan's been right this entire time.
It's funny. I coach with him too, and he told me the same thing. So there you go. Gotta love Jordan. He's a good dude. Okay. So, all right. So you've got some systems to upgrade, but right now it's been all hands on deck for the contacts. So the lesson there I'm hearing is don't get lost in building the system, right? And by, don't delay the activity you're supposed to be doing because you think you're missing a system.
Yeah,
So do
don't.
what you need to do and build the system along the way. Is that
I
what you're
mean,
saying?
that's with anything. Don't get ready to get ready to get ready. Just go, and we will build it as we grow and figure it out.
I love that. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about. Thank you, Stacy, for doing this. It's amazing to in the time we've known each other to watch what's happening in your business and the lives that you're impacting, and I'm blown away by it. I think it's very cool. So you started in a time that we were technically still in a buyer's market, starting a transition into a seller's market. If you go look now at the membership of the National Association of Realtors, Kent Temple, who he's right there in Charlotte. Kent Temple told me that 85% of members of NAR have never experienced a buyer's market. 85%.
Wow.
The other thing I heard, I was talking with Jay Papsan, and he told me that an overwhelming majority of the people in Gary's mastermind group got their license between like 2008 and 2012.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
you. Yeah. So these are all people that were born in this buyer's market, transitioning into a seller's market. And yet,
Oh, I
if you
love
look,
that.
yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? If you look, though, at the makeup of real estate agents today, a majority of them have never experienced a buyer's market. What advice would you give to those agents?
You know what? I did not know that about Gary's mastermind group. And I think what's really cool about it is that we all have the opportunity to be leaders and tell everybody that's following after us not to be scared of it. I mean, make it a game. You just got to shift your scripts around, and it's a practice every day to do that. So I would say don't be scared of it. It is forever shifting. We are never in the same market. We won't be in the same market tomorrow. We won't be in the same market next week. So make the decision to embrace it now, figure out what your learning opportunities are. And you know what? Thank goodness it's not boring. Every day is different.
Oh my gosh, no doubt about it. You also said that you started as a solo agent in 2011, built the team in 2017 with 5 people.
Yep.
And they all still work with you.
They do.
How does that happen?
I don't know. I think it goes back to figuring out why you're doing something and doing it for the right reasons. I talk with a lot of agents that say, I'm going to get into the business and build a team. And I always want to know why. Because for me, I didn't want a team. And here we are. And I love them. And I wouldn't change a thing. And back then, I just thought, okay, this is going well. I'm going to keep selling houses. Eventually, I'll retire. Ta-da. And I got to the point where I needed leverage, and I needed to welcome leverage into my life. So that meant at that point, when I'm very, very desperate for admin support, that I needed somebody very strong in that role. And then a buyer agent that was very strong. So ta-da, that's pretty much how we started.
And you are $4 million later, right, in 2022.
And also remembering that it's okay that people's lives change and their needs change. So we had a buyer agent, one of our first hires. She's now our marketing director. She had a baby. She said, I want to stay at home and work. By the way, I'm great at marketing. Ta-da, did a little shift-a-roo. So I just think that's important to realize that because they're in your organization, they all have stuff happening and you can't necessarily control what seat they stay in for years. Give them opportunity.
It's amazing. Okay, last question. As you reflect on the 11 years of this journey, going from paralegal to an agent who's running a team that's going to have a gross commission of over $4 million. You did over 3.8 million last year or something like that. It's just, you reflect on how far this team has come and the lives you've impacted, both the clients that you've worked with and yet the people that work for you too. And I'm sure your life and your family's life has changed. As you reflect on that, what comes to mind?
Just gratitude. I'm just grateful. Actually told Gary that a few months ago when I talked to him. I'm just grateful for the company that was built and for all the research that was done to teach us how to make it into a business of our own. So yeah, grateful.
You said that you just follow what he says in here.
Yeah.
And then you've gone now to following what he says in here.
Yeah.
And when you put these two things together in the market that we're in, you win. That's it at the end of the day. So it sounds like your message is get up and do what you're supposed to do every day and everything will work out. That's pretty much it, right?
That's it. We still don't do anything wild. I mean, we don't do events. We should. We'll incorporate it now, but I think just getting that foundation is most important. So what does that look like for you? And that can be events, right? You can build a business on it, but figure out what your one thing is going to be. And for us, it was whatever was free, reaching out to people.
Database context. So okay, there's another lesson in there. We can't miss out on these mini lessons from a $4 million agent. It's build the foundation before you go add. So many people want to add before they build the foundation. You're saying no, foundation first?
Yep, foundation first, creativity later, maybe much later. I'm just now dipping my toe into it.
Stacy, I like you. You're the best. Thank you so much for
Thank
doing this with
you.
our community and Pivot Shift Ahead. We're really proud of you. Congratulations on all the success.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You got it.